Hey guys, how are you doing? I thought I'd give you guys a post from Mexico. I just arrived yesterday and I was lying out in the sun since it rained all day yesterday. I was lying out in the sun this morning and I had this realization and I thought it would be an important message to share with all of you today. But in order to share it with you, it requires me to get really real, and I think it's important to get real in these times of filter life on social media. We tend to think that what we see on social media is a fair portrait or painting of what's kind of going on in someone's life. And, I've always prided myself on being transparent with you guys in the ways that I can be to make sure that nothing is misrepresented, as I think it's important that whenever we're taking in information that we're getting all sides, right? It's important to get all angles of what's kind of going on, so that we're not having any false expectations about what to find on our own journeys because of someone else's story and blah 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 blah. So I think it's important, to talk about, with Saturn squaring the nodes still. I mean, Saturn is now retrograding as of today. And so Saturn is actually going to start moving back towards the nodes, because the nodes always move in retrograde. And the nodes, especially the North Node, represents your destiny. It represents the places where you're really being guided to step into. It's challenging, it's outside your comfort zone, it's not what you're used to, but your destiny requires you to move that way. And this is kind of when we kind of come into our bodies here and import our consciousness into this planet. One of the things that we do is when your North Node, wherever it may lie in your chart, is really there to teach you a lot of the lessons you're desiring to grow from and develop in this particular lifetime. Now, the nodes are currently in in Scorpio and Taurus, and Taurus being the North Node. So a lot of our destiny is surrounding right now, has to involve things with money, because Venus rules Taurus. It has to do with resources, your value system, maybe certain luxuries or beauty, art. All those things are ruled by Taurus. And so the things that we're kind of letting go, Scorpio energy. Scorpio is a lot about psychology. It's the deeper parts within us. It's the hidden secrets. It's the hidden truths. Scorpio also represents financial institutions, banks, taxes, shared resources with perhaps your partner or someone that you may be in business with. And it's also about the occult, and it's about sex and scandals and all sorts of different darkness, because Scorpio can get really dark on the shadow side of it. And so that's what we're being called to really kind of let go. And there's something around that's being asked to let go. And, a lot of these themes have been coming up, and Saturn is kind of saying, okay, it's time to get really streamlined. It's time to start getting very responsible and taking care of the things that you really need to take care of right now. And it's almost like a tough love teacher in many ways, but there are great rewards that come with Saturn. And I'll get more into the Saturn retrograde on the Alchemy call tomorrow night, because we're going to be doing it. I'm doing it here from Mexico. But when you're on your journey to grow, to expand your awareness, to step into the person that you're meant to be, not the version of yourself that has kind of been programmed through your parents, your family, your friendships, your schooling, the world in general. It's about you really actually stepping into the version of yourself that has the highest potential for your journey here. And for me, it's been really interesting because I have been experiencing probably the most amount of anxiety and fear that I've ever experienced, while simultaneously accessing new opportunities and growth and new connections and like just amazing things happening. But the reason why these amazing things are happening is because I'm being forced to face a lot of the stuff I've been wanting to kind of like, oh, I don't really need to look at that right now. Oh, do I really have to deal with that? I don't feel like it. Like, it's the big stuff. And I'm now being forced since kind of, well, I don't want to say since April. There's actually been things that have been triggering it since last year, but it's been really full on since Saturn started squaring the nodes. And I just want you guys to know that when you see people like myself or anyone else that you may follow on YouTube or any other social media platform that you really respect or you lean into because it resonates with you, I just want to say that don't ever think that anyone is not going through challenging times to get to where they're getting or where they're going to. I think it's important to recognize that oftentimes things that are worth having have the greatest challenges in front of them, and that's just requiring to see how much do we really push ourselves to get it. And that's where a lot of the growth comes from. The things that we desire the most are usually the most challenging to attain. And I'm just like all of you guys. I've been experiencing incredible amounts of anxiety over the last few months, a lot of sleepless nights, points where my stomach is so in knots that sometimes I go through bouts where I'm losing a lot of weight, just from the stress of it all. Breakdowns, I've been having breakdowns. I just literally had a breakdown on Thursday, like 2 days ago, and it was over some stuff that's just been triggering me. And of course, Mercury retrograde has been the most, like, I don't know what's been going on with this Mercury retrograde. Thank God it's gone direct yesterday, because like I can't take it anymore. I can't take whatever Mercury is delivering. Like, honestly, Mercury, you need to take your stuff back, because it's been insane. But I just want you guys to know that I'm still pushing through it. There are times where I'm not gonna lie, I have literally had moments where I know I won't do it, but it's like a fleeting thought. It's a fast thought that comes in, like, do I really want to stick around any longer for this life? Like, maybe it's time to bow out. Like, maybe I'm just done. And these are like real moments that I've had. Now, I'm not gonna do that, but it gets to that point where the anxiety and the fear is so much, like, I don't know if I really want to deal with this. And the only thing that allows me to continue forward is, one, first, having an incredible support system. And I have an incredible support system of friends around me that have been so incredibly supportive. That has been immensely important. But also, I really look at like what I want, and knowing that I've got to trust that if I can just lean into it, it's going to be okay. And seeing how everything has already been working out in my favor leading up to this point. And so the fears are so important to face. The challenges are so important to face. It doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It is part of the process, and we have to let that process work us. We have to let that process work us, because it's how we grow, it's how we develop, it's how we get to the other side, so that we can kind of look back and say, oh, wow, I'm super proud of myself for sticking to that. Or, wow, I didn't know I was capable of that. And so I just really wanted to put this message out for you guys to know that, no matter what filter life you may perceive on social media, just know things are always real with everyone. We've all got our hurdles to jump over, our walls to break through, and they don't necessarily come easily. And this one that I'm currently facing is not necessarily coming very easily at all. I just want it to be over with. I want to be at the end of the journey, but I know that that's not exactly the whole point of all of this. The whole point of all of this really is to grow, right? We came here and to enjoy life. And I want to be really, really upfront that the challenges that I'm facing are going to allow me to enjoy life at a much higher level. They're going to allow me to actually push through ceilings that I haven't been able to push through yet. And so when I think about that and I think about the things that I've been deeply desiring, I'm like, I can't give up on that. I can't give up on myself. I can't give up on my dreams. And I can't give up on the things that I know are going to be coming in, like that are in some ways depending on me. And so I just want you guys to remember that no matter how hard it gets, one, you're not alone. Make sure you have an incredible support system around you to help you get through the challenging times. There's always going to be challenging times where you don't know if you're going to make it through, times where you think you might just give up. And a support system is so important. But also, look at yourself in the mirror and really take notice of who you are today versus who you were, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, a few years ago, maybe even a decade or two ago, and look at the changes and really validate that for yourself. Validate where you have come from already and know that you can keep going through that. It's so important to be okay with you being anxious or being fearful. Sometimes I just sit there with myself and it's like, you know what? I get it. Yeah, this is really scary. It's okay. And I kind of tune into my inner child because I know she's the one freaking out the most. And I'm like, you know what? Somehow, some way, we're going to get through this together. I've got your back, and we're just going to persevere because the goal, I don't even want to say it's the goal, but what's coming in is so worth it. It's so worth it. And anything that's really worth it is going to challenge you in all the ways you need to be challenged. And it just prepares you for the next leveling up. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Again, if you are needing a support system, one of the reasons I put Alchemy together was to create that community where you have support. So if you don't have people in your life that you can lean on, know that in Alchemy you can, through interacting with everyone in the Discord or the Telegram group, that you can actually build relationships. Some of you that are in Alchemy now, I know, have built some really cool relationships, and the whole point is to know that you've got someone there to lean on, and we're all there for you. And I just want to wish you guys an awesome month of June. This upcoming week, on Tuesday, I have an incredible podcast with Yannick Silver, and we're going to talk about the cosmic alarm clock. This is such a fun episode. Of course, I've had to pre-record them all before I came on vacation, but Yannick is an incredible man who's like an incredible entrepreneur, but super into the cosmic stuff. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy that episode. Got lots of good stuff we talk about. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it there, guys, and head back out to do some more recharging, soak up some more light codes, maybe go get something to eat. I'm just loving the seafood right now. So, guys, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back with you guys really soon.